Good afternoon. What's being described as a fight has left one person dead in Brampton.
2 others were taken to hospital with minor injuries. CTV's John Musselman is at the scene near Queen Street East and Centre Street North and joins us live with the latest. John.
Well, Natalie, we're still waiting to get more information from Peel Regional Police. I can tell you this happened at the house, the White House behind me. We can show you some video here. Peel Regional Police were called to Centre Street and Queen Street around 12:30 this morning after reports of a disturbance. Police say when they arrived, they found 2 people with wounds, minor in nature, but they were taken to hospital. Then they found a 3rd person who was pronounced dead on the scene. Now, again, police are continuing to canvass the neighborhood. What we have learned from some of the neighbors in this area who knew the victim, they say that this may have started over a dispute about the treatment of a dog. We have also learned that the victim, who neighbors here and friends identify as June, worked at the local laundromat for more than 17 years. They're quite upset about this news and about what happened. Here's what they had to say just a short time ago.
But it's a shame because she works over there at the laundromat. She's a wonderful, wonderful lady. So,
nicest lady there is. Nicest lady. She would shoot off her back or give you anything. She would give you anything.
Now, we did go to the laundromat. We spoke to the owner of the laundromat. She did confirm that the victim has worked there for more than 17 years, and she was shocked to find out this information. The police are there talking to her as well. They're also canvassing the neighborhood for any information. We'll have much more on this story tonight on CTV News at 5 and 6. Reporting live in Brampton, I'm John Musselman. I'll send it back to you.
Okay, thank you, John. To the weather story now, and we are in for another hazy summer day thanks to more wildfire smoke in the air above the city.
A special air quality statement that had been in effect throughout the weekend has now ended. But the smoky conditions, they remain. CTV's Beth Macdonell has been talking to people outdoors and joins us live. Beth.
Raheem, you can see on the horizon the haze in the city is improving. All that smoke north and west of us seems to be lifting. Today, the air quality index was deemed low risk for us moving around in the city, but it's not the end of the wildfire season. The harsh orange sun is a sure sign of the heavy smoke hovering over the city. It's been a punishing series of days which blew in so much smoke it created some of the worst air quality in the world.
My eyes, yes. I see my eyes getting red and stuff, yes.
Dozens of wildfires are burning across the country. This is a look at the hot spots. Each dot could be 1 or more fires. Many of them sending smoke to southern Ontario, creating a blanket of haze, causing people to take precautions.
We avoid being outside for too long. And do stuff in the morning and the evening when it's not so bad.
Environment Canada has lifted its special air quality statement that was in effect over the long weekend. Air quality was deemed high risk.
This hasn't stopped me from doing anything at this point, yeah. Obviously, it's concerning and yeah, we prefer the air quality to be better and there be no forest fires.
The agency says people with heart and lung conditions are most at risk, along with seniors, people who are pregnant, and infants. The federal government forecast at the start of the wildfire season that smoke in August would even increase, continue, and persist. Reporting live in Riverdale Park, I'm Beth Macdonell. Natalie, back to you.
Okay, thank you, Beth. Let's go inside now for a live look at the city this afternoon. You can see a bit of that haze that Beth mentioned and a bit of cloud cover too. It is once again hot out there as we get into the swing of August. Jessica Smith is here with a look at the current conditions. Jess.
Well, not after the long weekend. You know, everyone's kind of getting back into the swing of things. But the forecast for the week ahead, beautiful, but it is going to be very, very hot. Now, as Beth mentioned, we're no longer under those air quality statements, but it doesn't mean it's not still going to be there. It's just not at a level where it kind of signifies a air quality statement. But nonetheless, a beautiful day ahead of us temperature-wise. We're sitting kind of in the mid-20 range, feeling into the upper 20s, low 30s with a very light easterly wind as we head throughout the day today. Getting into the afternoon, it's another hot one. We're looking at daytime highs into the upper 20s, low 30s. We're not in heat warning criteria yet, but I wouldn't be surprised if we get there as we head into the afternoon. It'll feel like 34 midday today, so hydration and sun protection are key. Coming up, I'll have a full look at your long-range forecast. We'll talk about what you can expect as we settle into this short work week, but for now, I'll send things back over to Natalie.
Okay, thank you, Jess.
Thanks.
Still to come this hour, the final report on the Titan submersible disaster. It's in. We'll break down the findings on what went wrong just ahead. But first to the hard court, where Toronto's Victoria Mboko is continuing her improbable run at the National Bank Open.
Mboko will play in the semifinals tomorrow night after another impressive victory in Montreal.
It's going to be WTA or trophy. 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 Receive.
The 18-year-old needed only 77 minutes to defeat Jessica Buzas Minero of Spain 6-4, 6-2 in the quarterfinals last night. Her opponent in the final four, it'll be a tough test. 9th-seeded Alina Rybakina of Kazakhstan. Let's bring in CTV's Allison Hurst. She's been getting reaction from the next generation of tennis players, and she joins us now live. Allison.
Raheem, lots of excitement today at this tennis campus. We've been speaking with them, thrilled that a Canadian is doing so well, and they say it's inspiring them as they pick up their rackets and practice their skills.
What a great rally!
As Victoria Mboko reaches the semifinals in the National Bank Open in Montreal, young tennis fans are watching.
Yeah, it makes me feel pride for someone who came near this area actually got to a really high level at this young age, and it kind of motivates me.
Samuel Liu says he watches with his dad.
I think that's amazing, and it inspires my dad too, because my dad also plays a lot of tennis.
18-year-old Mboko has booked her ticket to the semifinals at the National Bank Open following a stunning defeat of top seed Coco Gauff and another dominant performance in the quarters.
Wow, what a story that is unfolding in Montreal with 18-year-old Victoria Mboko. Take this in for a moment. A year ago, Mboko was ranked outside the top 300. Yes, top 300 in the WTA rankings. And now she's cracked the top 50 by advancing to the semifinals at the National Bank Open, her home tournament. Just a remarkable result and dream run, really, for the 18-year-old. A real star on the rise in Canadian tennis.
Mboko is the first Canadian to reach the semi since 2019 when Bianca Andreescu won the tournament.
I need you guys to get into partners, please.
Nike Tennis Camp coaches like Cameron Bentley are using her success and lessons from the court to inspire his campers.
You may win the first set, you still got to win the second one. So, yeah, just, enjoy it, I guess. I'm sure she enjoyed it.
Mboko's next match is tomorrow. And she's the last Canadian left in the tournament, so no doubt lots of people will be tuning in to watch that mashup. It will be a tough one. It's against 9th seed Alina Rybakina. Reporting live, I'm Allison Hurst. Raheem, back to you.
Thanks for that, Allison. Now to the crisis in Gaza and Canada's attempt to get aid to people in need.
A Canadian Armed Forces Hercules plane dropped the aid yesterday. This is Prime Minister Mark Carney says Canada is intensifying efforts to broker peace. CTV's Kamal Karamali explains.
A rare and brief moment of celebration in Gaza. Food airdropped from above, feeding hope to a starving population. Crates delivered from countries around the world, among them Canada's contribution, nearly 10,000 kilograms of aid dropped over Gaza by the Canadian Armed Forces Monday, for the first time using their own aircraft instead of relying on another country.
Well, it's not nearly enough.
5 more Palestinians have died from a lack of food, says Gaza's health ministry, with doctors feeling helpless.
Our surgical teams and our medical teams who are hungry themselves.
Families of Israeli hostages in Gaza fear starvation will be the death of their loved ones as well, and put the blame on Hamas, who released these videos of 2 emaciated Israelis in their captivity. For hungry Palestinians on the ground, seeking food from Israel's controversial aid group continues to have deadly consequences. More than 40 people killed by Israeli gunfire and airstrikes Monday, according to local medics. As the violence worsens, a new parliamentary report from July highlights the type of weapons sent from Canadian companies to Israel in 2024. More than $18 million worth, including more than $2 million categorized as accessories related to bombs and other explosives, while more than $12 million sent labeled components related to electronic equipment and military spacecraft. The Foreign Affairs Minister's office says they refused any new permits to Israel since January of 2024 and froze existing permits that same year, saying the weapons exported are non-lethal. If an export permit for an item used to protect civilians is requested, it will be approved.
Canada has no way of monitoring or enforcing where these weapons and weapon parts are used.
Now, a coalition of not-for-profit groups is calling on Canada to put a complete stop to the shipments of arms to Israel, while the Centre for Israel and Jewish Affairs says the claims stemming from the report are false. Kamal Koramali, CTV News.
A suspect is still being sought after 3 people were found dead in Bracebridge over the weekend.
Police were called to a home Friday night for reports of gunshots.
Once officers arrived, one person was located deceased outside the residence, and the residence was fully engulfed in flames.
On Saturday, investigators discovered 2 more bodies inside the home. They are now trying to track down 29-year-old Mitchell Gray. Ontario Provincial Police say the suspect and victims were known to one another, but won't say whether they were related. 2 19-year-olds have been shot in North York. The shooting happened in the Jane and Driftwood area around 10:30 last night. 2 male suspects fled the scene in a dark-colored vehicle, one wearing black clothing, the other described as wearing a red shirt. Police say a 19-year-old man suffered a gunshot wound and was taken to hospital with non-life-threatening injuries. The second victim, also 19, was taken to hospital with minor injuries. Now to Burleigh Falls, north of Peterborough, where there has been a tragedy in the water.
2 people drowned after going missing on Sunday north of Peterborough at Stony Lake. After nearly 24 hours of search and rescue efforts along the shoreline of Stony Lake, the OPP Underwater Search and Recovery Unit has recovered the bodies of 2 people who went missing Sunday evening. It was just before 5 p.m. when Peterborough County officers were called to Burleigh Falls for a potential drowning. Police say 2 people had been swimming in the area when one of them fell in from the shoreline and appeared to be in distress. OPP say others went into the water to help, resulting in a second person missing. A 24-year-old male from Caledon and a 26-year-old male from Brampton have been pronounced dead. Burleigh Falls is around 35 kilometers north of Peterborough. Recent data shows a rise in drownings this year, and Ontario is seeing the biggest spike. According to the Life Saving Society of Ontario, at the end of July, there had been 57 drowning deaths in the province, compared to 49 by the same point last year. The names of the victims have not been made public. A caution today about the dangers of leaving pets in a hot vehicle.
A dog had to be put down due to heat stroke after being left with another dog inside a vehicle in the heat that happened in Oshawa Sunday. And the owner has been charged by police. CTV's Janice Golding reports.
Some regard their pets as part of the family.
They're like your children.
Which is why many people who live and work near Simcoe and Winchester and Oshawa are horrified that 2 dogs were left in a hot car and one had to be put down due to heat stroke.
Makes me sick to my stomach that an animal has to suffer like that. Unfortunately, people don't think.
Officers were called about 2 dogs in distress. Animals, investigators say, had been left in a hot vehicle for an extended period of time.
When officers attended the scene, they spoke to witnesses and were eventually led to a veterinarian clinic where we learned that one of the dogs had to be euthanized from the heat stroke.
The owner was arrested and charged with willfully causing unnecessary pain or suffering or injury to an animal. And with the hot weather continuing, police are issuing a reminder to the public.
People think that these dogs are fine. They think, oh, if I put the window a bit, they'll get some air in. But we're finding on these hot days, we don't even really have much of a breeze. So they're not getting the temperature control that they need.
According to experts, dogs have a limited ability to sweat. So even a short period of time in a hot environment can be deadly. In fact, heat stroke fatalities can occur in less than 15 minutes. And even if you're parked in a shady area, your car can reach dangerous temperatures quickly. Many animal lovers say people shouldn't need the reminder.
I could never do that to them. I don't even want to leave them in the car for like 10 minutes. I always bring them with me everywhere I go because it's way too hot in the summertime.
I feel terrible. I think that is a horrible thing that happened to the pet, and I think that is there should be more education about it. I think that anyone who owns a pet should be conscious about how the heat can impact small animals.
It makes me very angry. I don't like hearing about dogs being in a car. Like, imagine leaving your kid in the car. It's the same thing, really.
Unfortunately, Mel Clatworthy, who has worked in the pet care industry for about 15 years, says it's all too common.
It's not shocking because we have seen several people leave their dogs in their car, and we do say something about it if we do see it, that it's too hot for their dog. They can bring them in the store.
Police say if you see a dog in a situation like this, you should call 911 immediately because these are emergency situations and there's little time to lose.
Signs to look out for? Well, symptoms of heat stroke in a dog can include excessive drooling, panting, lethargy, vomiting, diarrhea, and collapse. Janice Golding, CTV News.
There's been a rescue after a jet ski crash in Lake Ontario off Etobicoke.
2 people brought to shore yesterday afternoon by police after the incident. It happened in the Lakeshore and Park Lawn area. The Toronto Police Marine Unit located the 2 men offshore after a reported collision involving jet skis sometime before 3:30. One rider in his 30s was taken to hospital with a leg injury. The other was assessed on scene by medics.
The U.S. Coast Guard says the Titan submersible disaster in 2023 that killed 5 people was preventable. A report released today indicates there were multiple contributing factors. It highlights ignored safety warnings and inadequate design and maintenance. The implosion occurred as a submersible descended to the site of the Titanic. The tragedy has resulted in lawsuits and calls for stricter regulations in private deep-sea tourism. Washington-based Ocean Gate suspended operations in July 2023. A spokesperson said it was fully cooperating with the investigation.
Hundreds of wildfires continue to burn across the country, including 2 in Newfoundland and Labrador, where fresh evacuation orders were issued last night. CTV's Scott Hurst is standing by with the latest on this. Scott, we are seeing several fires continue to burn on the West Coast as well, several of them still out of control. Where are the largest blazes in this country right now?
Natalie, good afternoon. Of course, this wildfire season, we've spent so much time talking about the impact of wildfires in the prairie provinces, and for good reason. It has been a devastating wildfire season, but the most recent updates that we're getting are from premiers of 2 Atlantic provinces. You mentioned the wildfires that are burning in Newfoundland and Labrador, and we got an update from the premier a short time ago, just a little bit earlier this morning, talking about the significant firefight on their hands in that province. 2 wildfires burning in the northern Avalon Peninsula, and the most recent one that is of significant concern in the Kingston, Adams Cove, Small Point area. That fire tripled in size overnight to more than 735 hectares. Evacuation orders are in place, but the premier of that province confirming that structures and buildings have been lost, and that fire is still burning out of control. We also heard from the premier of Nova Scotia this morning, where that province is implementing restrictions on activities in the woods, basically telling people to stay out of the woods because of the hot and dry conditions. And the premier is saying there's no significant rain in the forecast. Here's more from the premier of Nova Scotia, Tim Houston.
Effective 4 p.m. today, we're telling Nova Scotians, stay out of the woods. We are restricting travel and activities that really aren't necessary for most of us. Hiking, camping, fishing, and the use of vehicles in the woods are not permitted. Trail systems through woods are off limits. Camping is allowed, but only in official campgrounds. The fine for violating any of these bans is the same as the fine for the ban on burning, $25,000.
And Natalie, just to show you how concerning this wildfire season has been, I want to take you all the way to the other side of the country, and there's a wildfire of concern burning on Vancouver Island north of Nanaimo that has forced close to 400 properties to be put on mandatory evacuation order, and that fire is now more than 511 hectares in size and still burning out of control. So it is a significant firefight, depending on where you are, Natalie, from coast to coast.
Wow, and Scott, certainly people across the country have been breathing the smoky air as a result of these wildfires over the last few days. When are we expecting that to break? What types of precautions should Canadians be taking at this point?
Specifically, we saw it here over the last couple of days, the long weekend in Toronto and southern Ontario. There have been many air quality alerts and air quality warnings, and really seeing the downtown skyline clouded in this wildfire smoke. As we often say, you don't have to be close to where the fire is burning to be impacted by the wildfire smoke, and it is particularly concerning for those with underlying health conditions, for seniors and the very young, toddlers and babies. So the best advice is to limit your activity, limit your strenuous activity outdoors as much as possible while the wildfire smoke is a concern in the area where you are, Natalie.
Okay, CTV Scott Hurst with the latest on the wildfires that continue to burn across the country. Thank you, Scott.
Thanks, Natalie.
Meanwhile, there's an extraordinary political throwdown happening in the U.S. Texas Democrats have fled the state.
It was a move to block a controversial vote that will redistribute seats. And now, as CTV's Joy Malbon reports, the governor is threatening to have them all arrested.
It's a Texas-sized revolt. More than 50 Democrats said they had no choice but to leave their home state to block a vote that would redraw congressional voting districts favoring Republicans before next year's crucial midterm elections.
Governor Abbott is doing this in submission to Donald Trump, so that Donald Trump could steal these communities' power and voice.
Donald Trump made no secret of it, calling on Texas Governor Greg Abbott to help beef up the Republicans' razor-thin majority in the House and push through Trump's agenda.
How many more seats do you want the Republicans to draw?
5.
Are you calling then for a complete redrawing of the congressional map?
No, just a very simple redrawing. We pick up 5 seats.
But with Democrats out of town, the House was denied a quorum. Texas Governor Greg Abbott threatening to fire the renegade Democrats.
These Democrats have absconded from the responsibility, and I believe they have forfeited their seats in the state legislature because they're not doing the job they were elected to do.
Texas allows the state to redraw voting maps every decade, but it's only been a few years, and Democrats say this fight is more than just lines on a map. It's about democracy.
It's Trump's steal of 5 congressional seats. That's all they care about. And so our goal as Texas Democrats is to stand up, ensure that they don't do this steal.
The House stands adjourned.
Democrats are digging in, even as they face losing their jobs, and now civil arrest warrants have been issued if they don't return to Texas for the vote. Joy Malbon, CTV News, Washington.
Canada's trade deficit has widened, according to the latest stats from June, making it the second highest trade deficit on record. Canada's total trade deficit in June hit $5.9 billion. Total imports were up 1.4%, the first increase in 4 months. The gain was largely due to imports of industrial machinery. Total exports rose 0.9%, following a 2% increase in May. Exports of energy products contributed to most of the increase. Let's bring in CTV's Colton Prale. He's standing by in Ottawa with the latest. Well, Colton, I mean, these are some pretty substantial numbers. What sticks out to you about this trade data?
Yeah, on both the import front and the trade deficit, both of those are attributable to one large purchase for equipment for an oil project that's happening in Newfoundland. So if you actually take that out, our imports are down 1.4%. Obviously, you can't take it out, but it's worth pointing that out, that is skewing the data a little bit. What's really noteworthy to me isn't just the month-to-month data, though. It's the Q2 data that came out as well that really paints a picture of the impacts of this trade dispute going on with the United States. For context, our trade deficit, you were just talking about it, in the first quarter, it was $388 million. That was the trade deficit, in large part because a lot of companies were buying up before those tariffs came in, trying to increase as much supply and inventory as they could to not be impacted by the tariffs. What did that mean for Q2? The trade deficit went from $388 million to $19 billion. A massive, massive shift. We're talking about a 13% drop in exports overall, but energy, auto, and consumer goods all hit the hardest. Energy saw about a 20% drop. Vehicles and car parts saw about a 16.5%, 17% hit. And when you break it down, not just by value, because that's how exports are measured, but by volume, the amount of exports going back and forth, we saw a 30% drop in the second quarter of exports actually crossing the border. Huge, huge impacts from this trade dispute. There is some good news, some of it coming coming out of the U.S. The amount of goods that are not being tariffed, or the amount of goods that are crossing the border tariff-free, continues to increase. That's up to 92% from 89% in April. So we are seeing some positives there. We saw exports actually go up to the United States last month. That was noteworthy. Mainly that's being driven by high oil prices. We also saw noteworthy exports to the rest of the world, non-American countries, drop. It's still up year over year, about 15%, but after a record month in May, that slowed down a little bit in the month of June. In large part, that's because we saw a massive purchase of gold from the UK in the month of May. It was record-setting. That didn't happen in the month of June. We did see some other volume exports go up, though, copper, canola to China. So there is still an effort to diversify away from the United States, but worth keeping in mind that when it comes to dollar figures, that's a very, very small amount compared to what's going to the U.S.
Well, speaking of diversifying outside of the U.S., a pair of federal cabinet ministers, they're in Mexico City looking to boost trade. The timing of this is quite interesting. What are Canada's finance and foreign affairs ministers hoping to achieve with this trip?
Yeah, they're meeting with their counterparts, they're meeting with business stakeholders, but crucially, they're also meeting with the Mexican president, Claudia Sheinbaum, over a two-day trip. And really, yes, this is about building up trading relationships with our third largest trading partner, but it's also about security. There's an acknowledgement that Mexico earned a 90-day pause on their increase to tariffs, while Canada got hit by that 35%. The calendar is staring everyone in the face. We're a year out from the potential renegotiation of the CUSMA free trade deal, and Canada is seeing the way things are going with the rest of the world. Donald Trump has made it pretty clear that he's not a fan of these wide trade deals. He likes to have a one-on-one trade relationship. And so this is the Canadian government working to strengthen that relationship with the Mexican administration so that should we go into trilateral or to bilateral trade talks, Canada isn't negotiating against itself and against Mexico. It's also an acknowledgement that there's a search for certainty. There is a search for stability as the U.S. becomes more protectionist. We already have a trade deal with Mexico. They're the third partner in that CUSMA agreement. We have the infrastructure to get there. We have decades-long history. There's a push to find, in the words of the finance minister, more partners that we can trust.
The roller coaster ride continues. CTV's Colton Perel. Thanks for this, Colton.
Anytime.
In sports on the Diamond, it was a big night for the Toronto Blue Jays in Colorado last night.
Varsho drives it. Right field and deep. Turning at the wall. Freeman. See you later.
The Jays' bats came out swinging in this one with 25 hits. Dalton Varsho, who just returned from injury last week, broke the game open with this 3-run homer. Toronto went on to win the game 15-1, and the Jays and Rockies will meet again tonight.
Not a bad start to the short work week for many. Temperature-wise, we're sitting just above seasonal, but that humidity is going to be a factor as you head throughout your Tuesday. So hydration and water are going to be key to enjoying this kind of first full week of August safely. Now, average daytime high should be around 26. We're holding on to a lot of warmth into the second half of our day, so keep that in mind if you do have outdoor plans or you work outside. 29, feeling like 34, and that UV index on the very high side at an 8. Coming up, I'll have a full look at your long-range forecast, including temperatures getting even warmer before the week is all said and done. All those details in your full forecast coming up in just a few minutes.
Welcome back. Well, the good news is the air quality advisory that had been issued for Toronto has ended, but I was looking at it over the weekend. At one point, we were number 2. Only the Republic of Congo was ahead of us.
Oh, wow.
That's scary in terms of conditions.
It is. It does feel a bit better out there today. A bit haze still in the air this morning, but you know, we've got a lot of heat as well. It's a soupy air.
So soupy. And usually I love soup, but not this kind of soup, y'all. But over the weekend, I was out for the Toronto Caribbean Carnival, and you could see it then, and it only really kind of got worse over the rest of the weekend. But the good news is we get a bit of a reprieve now. It doesn't mean we're done with it just yet, but we're not in an area where we are at least qualifying for an air quality statement. So there's some good news, I promise you. And as we head throughout the week, it really only gets warmer. Taking a look outside again, you see that little bit of haze out there, but our temperatures are comfortable. We're in a fairly seasonal range just above as we head throughout your kind of first half of your day, and then into the afternoon is when things start to change. Weather is brought to you by the Presler Law Firm. Injury lawyers you don't pay unless they win. Now, we're sitting at about 26 degrees right now here in the city. Still a little bit of a light haze in the air, although we are no longer under the air quality statement. It doesn't mean the smoke is all gone just yet. We're just not qualifying for an air quality statement when it comes to the conditions. Temperature-wise, right now, we're sitting at a fairly seasonal point, and we get just above as we head into that second half of our day. We're sitting at 26 right now. It feels like 31. The same through Kingston. We're holding on at about 23 through Wyerton, but really across the entire province, thanks to a bit of a ridge in the jet stream, we're holding on to a decent amount of warm air. Into the afternoon, we're still at 29. It'll feel like 34. Those humidix values into the mid-30s throughout the afternoon. So again, you have kids at camp. If you work outside, you're wanting to maybe hit up a patio this afternoon, just make sure you have some protection and the chance to take some breaks in the shade and lots of hydration. Into this evening, warm as well. We're not too far above seasonal, but it's a little challenging if you don't have AC. We'll sit at about 18, but everybody fairly comfortable as we head through our evening. Not much going on in the way of any extreme active weather. A bit of a stationary front sitting south of us, but overall holding on to high pressure and a relatively clear sky as we head throughout the day today and in through the rest of our week. Through your Tuesday afternoon, again, just some light clouds out there. A little sunnier if you're heading up towards cottage country, but for now, for us here in southern Ontario, for the most part, it's not too bad. Into this evening, clear as well, and there's not much to write home about aside from a little cloud cover as we head throughout your Wednesday. Some pop-up showers in the vicinity, likely to skip us here in the GTA, but again, busy time of the year, a lot of folks traveling. Keep that in mind if you're traveling west of us or east of us. As we head in towards your Thursday, more sunshine, more heat to make it back into the 30s before this week is all said and done. So something to keep in mind, again, we're getting into that time of year people are using up the last of their vacations. Now, we're holding on just above seasonal today, but those humidix values in that mid to low 30 range throughout the entirety of the week. It gets really hot as we head in towards your Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Lots of sunshine, lots of heat back into the 30s. So say, for example, you're heading to the Argos game on Saturday, you'll need your sun protection. Hopefully this helps you plan. For now, I'll send it back over to Raheem.
Thanks, Jess.
Thanks.
Still to come, back to school shopping is just around the corner. After the break, we have some tips on buying a laptop. While most kids have a few more weeks left of summer vacation, there are some students who are heading back to class beginning today.
And if you've got a child in a senior grade or who is heading to college or university, they might be in the market for a new laptop. Here's CTV's Pat Foran with Consumer Alert.
Computers have improved so much over the years that even the most basic models will be able to handle most of what students need to do. But there are big price differences depending on what you want to buy. Consumer Reports has their best picks for any laptop budget. Whether you're heading off to high school, college, or university, the right laptop can make your school year, and timing your purchase could save you hundreds of dollars.
We tell folks that if they have the money now to buy the laptop now, because there is a very good chance that prices could rise pretty dramatically.
For bigger budgets, the latest 15-inch Apple MacBook Air ranks near the top of the laptop ratings for performance and reliability. To score one for less, choose a smaller model or one that's a few years old. Prefer a PC with Windows? This lightweight LG Gram offers great portability and battery life. And if you're looking to save a few bucks,
maybe you find one that's a year or two older, which is still going to be a very good laptop. You could probably find that for less than the current year model.
If you want the latest tech, the HP OmniBook Ultra is a powerful AI PC designed to run AI apps on the laptop itself instead of online. And although it's pricey, there are ways to save.
Generally speaking, don't just buy it from the first store that happens to have it. Take your time, give it a couple days and shop around at different stores, and it is very likely you'll be able to find a better price somewhere else.
And if you want to get the biggest bang for a small budget, this lightweight Lenovo Chromebook weighs next to nothing and delivers 19 hours of battery life. Another smart option, refurbished laptops sold directly from Apple, Dell, HP, and other trusted brands. They go through full inspections and often include a 1-year warranty. And if you're a student looking for a laptop, don't forget to mention that. Many companies offer student discounts. Apple, Dell, HP, and some stores offer student pricing, sometimes with extra perks like gift cards or accessories. On your side, I'm Pat Foran.
If you have a consumer story idea, email us at alert@ctv.ca.
For weeks, we've been extensively covering the hundreds of forest fires burning across Canada.
Now to a story about their impact on wildlife, including Manitoba's polar bears. CTV's Alex Karpa reports.
At the shores of Hudson Bay sits Wapusk National Park in northeastern Manitoba. It's one of the world's largest known polar bear denning areas, crucial for the survival of newborn cubs.
Looking at where polar bear dens are. And
Stephen Peterson, the Director of Conservation and Research at Winnipeg's Assiniboine Park Conservancy, says a warming climate and a drying subarctic landscape is increasing the fire risk up north, placing polar bears in ever-increasing danger.
if we then start eroding and picking away at that denning habitat that's so important for producing new cubs and keeping those populations sustainable, then polar bears are just kind of getting another whammy that will make them less likely to be in Manitoba in the long term.
He is now hoping to create a map that can help inform wildfire fighting efforts in the future to protect wildlife in the north.
If we want to protect polar bear habitat, knowing where that habitat is and what's at high risk will help make those decisions.
Climate change is happening at a pace that is unprecedented.
Megan Jones has studied the impact climate change is having on polar bears and whether they can adapt to an evolving climate. In her ongoing study, she discovered that for every degree of climate warming, these polar bears along the western shores of the Hudson Bay are aging biologically by 1 year.
As we are losing ice in the Arctic due to climate change, bears are spending more time swimming, which is 5 times more energetically intensive than walking. So they're using energy a lot faster.
Manitoba's fire map shows one small active fire in Wapusk National Park and 2 other fires in the region, but it's not just the fires that could impact bears, but smoke too.
When polar bears are inhaling these gases, they're inhaling particulate matter, it's going to result in inflammation in their bodies as well.
Jones says the Arctic is expected to warm for at least the next 100 years, but in the meantime, she is doing everything she can to protect polar bears in the north. Alex Scarpa, CTV News, Winnipeg.
Still to come this hour, this is the final day of voting on a strike mandate for some flight attendants. We'll tell you what's up in the air just ahead.
Get Toronto's top stories, breaking news alerts, and watch live. Download the CTV News app.
Today's the final day to vote on a strike mandate for more than 10,000 unionized Air Canada flight attendants. They are casting a ballot on whether to give their union the power to call a strike if contract talks between the airline and the Canadian Union of Public Employees are not successful. Negotiations began at the start of the year. If no collective agreement is reached, the union said a strike could happen as early as August 16th, but bargaining is expected to resume at the end of this week, regardless of the outcome of the vote.
Air Canada has provided a statement describing the vote as a normal step in the negotiation process and does not mean that any disruption will take place. And the company says Air Canada is committed to the bargaining process and remains fully available to continue negotiations toward a fair and equitable collective agreement.
And in other airline news, thousands of Boeing employees who build fighter jets are now on strike in the U.S. 3,200 workers at 3 facilities in Missouri and Illinois walked off the job yesterday after voting to reject a modified 4-year contract. The union says its workers deserve a deal that recognizes their expertise and the critical role they play in national defense.
The Prime Minister is spending another day in British Columbia, where he will make an announcement about lumber amid the simmering trade dispute with the U.S. over softwood. Yesterday, Mark Carney toured the Canadian Forces Maritime Experimental and Test Ranges facility on Vancouver Island. The PMO says the visit was intended to highlight Canada's plan to rebuild and rearm the military.
Backed by popular demand, the retelling of one of literature's popular love stories returns to Toronto.
Pride and Prejudice, sort of, is entertaining audiences with its timeless themes and narrative style. CTV's Andrea Case reports.
Jane Austen's Pride and Prejudice was written in 1813.
Say I'm gonna live 1,000 times a day.
Pride and Prejudice, sort of, in 2018. It's a retelling of the iconic love story featuring a string of pop classics written by Isabel MacArthur. It premiered in Scotland and went on to win the Laurence Olivier Award in the UK for Best Comedy.
The show it was such a success when it was first written, and it's gone on to do such amazing things. And so the blueprint of how it works and what it does is really very clear. And so we were given lots of flexibility to play and find our own sort of voice within the piece.
The cast of 5 women play all roles, male and female.
There's times when Rihanna plays Mr. Darcy, and I literally don't see her as a woman at all. I couldn't possibly imagine her being her. It's just Mr. Darcy, and she's so skillful at becoming everyone is with the men that they become in the piece, and you sort of lose yourself in the story.
Neither actors Rhianna McGreevy nor Naomi Preston Lowe had seen the show before they auditioned for it.
I'd heard a lot about the show. I hadn't actually seen it. None of us in the cast had seen it before we got to be in it. And I think it always has there's a lot of differences between each time it comes on the road because people have different instruments that they play and things that they bring to the piece itself. So it was very interesting to see what we created as our group of people.
The show was a hit when it played last year and is back for a limited engagement.
There's so much that's surprisingly relatable about Pride and Prejudice, and I think that's the joy that we've sort of mined in our piece of work here, is that, you know, trying to get that story to appeal to a modern audience is actually not that difficult to do.
While both actresses are enjoying this run, they have other credits. McGreevy co-stars in The Witcher, and right out of drama school, Preston landed a small role in Bridgerton.
Just the expertise of everyone that was on that set was extraordinary, and I got to learn so much, and that's all that you need when you're coming out of drama school for the first time. I was so nervous, and I didn't really know the etiquette.
As for Pride and Prejudice, sort of,
it's an amazing, fun night out, and whether you love Jane Austen or whether you don't know any of her work at all, there's something for everyone to enjoy, and we'd like to leave the audience with, you know, big smiles on their face at the end. And yeah, it's just a lot of fun for us to do, and it's a lot of fun for the audience. It feels like a big party at the end of the show.
Pride and Prejudice, sort of, is on stage now at the Ed Mirvish Theatre until August 17th. Andrea Case, CTV News, Toronto.
A British Columbia woman is one of the first Canadians to benefit from a remarkable and unusual surgery to restore vision.
A caution that this story does contain graphic visuals. CTV's Andrew Johnson reports.
It's fantastic. Oh, it's a miracle.
Gail Lane hadn't laid eyes on Vancouver's False Creek or anything else in more than a decade.
The closer part down here is very, very sharp and clear.
Until the highly specialized 2-part surgery that has restored her sight.
It's exciting. It's, I just felt full of gratitude.
Lane went blind because of an autoimmune disorder. Now she is one of the first in Canada to benefit from what's called tooth-in-eye surgery, and it's aptly named. Earlier this year, surgeons removed one of Lane's teeth, glued a lens inside of it, then sewed it into her cheek, where it grew connective tissue for several months before surgery number 2.
We make a small hole in the front of the eye, remove the lens, the iris, the anterior contents of the eyeball. Then into that hole, we put the tooth with the telescope and we stitch it into place on the front of the eye.
At first, Lane thought that sounded like something out of science fiction. Now she knows otherwise. Her vision began to gradually improve.
I'm starting to be able to see people's features, facial features.
Including one face she'd never seen before, her partner's.
He still hasn't seen me, and I had never seen him when we met. We were both blind.
And the dog she can now take for a walk.
I could see his tail wagging first, and then his whole body eventually.
The surgeon who has now helped Gail and 2 others to see again is also grateful for the experience.
It's one of the best feelings in medicine that you can have as a surgeon.
Dr. Maloney says he's found 3 more suitable candidates for the tooth-in-eye procedure as part of a pilot project he hopes will eventually receive regular funding.
Wow.
And more Canadians can experience this. Andrew Johnson, CTV News, Vancouver.
Coming up, Jurassic Park is still roaring at the box office.
Well, it looks like the dinosaurs aren't going anywhere anytime soon. Jurassic Park Rebirth is still roaring at the box office. The film surpassed the $750 million milestone over the weekend.
Maybe only the worst ones here.
The movie is now the third release this year to inch toward the $1 billion mark. Other high earners include Lilo and Stitch, which has officially crossed that threshold. The Minecraft movie came close with $955 million earned.
Well, the Juno Awards are adding a dash of Latin flavor to next year's festivities. Organizers plan to introduce Latin Music Recording of the Year at the 2026 show. The new category will recognize Canadian musicians across all Latin American languages and genres who have released music in the eligible year. It's the latest move by the Junos to diversify how it recognizes Canadian creators and the evolving national music scene. While Jess, conditions are improving, how are things shaping up this afternoon?
Pretty nice. There are so many events happening throughout the summer. I know there's like outdoor salsa lessons, depending on where you are along the water. There's all these different things that happen. So the forecast is nice. Just make sure you hydrate, because that heat can really sneak up on you, and heat exhaustion and heat stroke, very serious, and they can happen very quickly. Now, as we head into the afternoon, if you want to spend some time outside, even without a brilliantly sunny day, you can still get a burn. So don't let any kind of cloud cover fool you. The UV index is still very, very high. As we head into the second half of our day, we get up to about 29 right now. I'm sitting 26, feeling 31 is comfortable. But again, you want to just check in on yourself and the more vulnerable people in your life and your pets as well, because it's hot for them too. Now, as we head into your Wednesday and onwards, it gets warmer and warmer. We're kind of hovering at or just above seasonal for the daytime highs and overnight lows, but those humidex values get into the 30s and they stay there. So just be mindful spending time outdoors. But the weekend looking pretty nice, up into the 30s. So if you have plans this weekend, Natalie and Raheem, I recommend you get outside, just sun protection and water.
I never have plans. Thanks for that, Jess. That is CTV News at noon. Remember, you can get Toronto's breaking news all day long on CP24 and at our website, ctvnewstoronto.ca.
For Jessica Smith and all of us here at CTV News, thank you for watching. I'm Natalie Johnson.
And I'm Raheem Ladani. Be sure to join us later for CTV News at 5 and 6.